Greetings, YouTube. This is my storage wall, or at least my storage wall that is currently in the works. There are still things I need to do. I still have not organized these bins the way I want them organized yet. I still have space up there for another of these layers, and once I get this place sorted, I want to put down at least 3 more on the bottom. While this is the entirety of this collection that I purchased all at once, this whole thing came from one estate sale, I do have a number of other bins that I've picked up over the years, and I will be able to store more things up there and more things down there, but that has not happened yet. And this is a system that I have built myself. So what we have here is a baluster and a piece of bed frame, and this just hooks on there. So this is what holds it to the frame, and this is screwed here, and that means I can then very easily move these anywhere I want to. I have lots and lots of flexibility. So I have this spot here that just kind of ended up becoming an artifact of the process, because when I installed this, I wanted it to be right up there alongside the edge of this beam, this support beam, and this had originally been attached to a shelf, and I put this on the bottom of it, creating a shelf. And then this is the top, which I actually turned upside down, so I have a little lip here so I can put containers up there and not worry about them sliding off if I reach up to grab something. But in the process, I ended up with this thing here. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this spot? I couldn't figure out what I want to do, so I went and I found some of these. And these are just plastic bins, not particularly high density, but I want to install them here, and I think I can get 4 of them here, and I've got 7 of these things. I picked 7 of these things up for 20 bucks. And so I wanted to find a way of putting them on here so that I can have a solid base for them, and that will be able to be slid in and out without any hassle, so nothing attaching these to those. And I want to use a method similar to this, but slightly different. I'm still going to use balusters, and I'm still going to use bed rails. But this is what I'm going to do. So, what I want to do is I want to create a cantilevered system. So that here's you've got this, and you're going to end up with a support like that. So it's going to sit like this. So that the bin will be sitting on 2 arms, one on either side, and it will be coming off of a baluster which will be holding the entire fixture both together and against that piece of plywood I've got there. So what I want to do is I want to create the 2 arms like that. So there'll be one like that, and then there will be one going this way, and this would be just the same width as the base, whatever the base is. I haven't measured that yet. That's the width I'm going for, because they do expand at the top is wider than the bottom, so the bottom is what I care about. That's the part that gets the support. So that's going to be the width from edge to edge on this, and I'm going to put a piece like this on the bottom, and that does a couple things for me. It is going to mean that I have full support from the wall all the way out here, because this is where I'll be putting the fasteners that hold the whole thing to the plywood. So this is going to give me, like, you know, almost 3 inches of support from the wall out. So that's direct, absolute support. There's no cantilever involved in that. This will act as an extension, so I'll have cantilever support out. This from here for out will be the only cantilevering. So that means that only 2/3 of the weight will be actually cantilevered out here. I will be putting these this way. The fasteners will be going that way. I have to make sure I lay this out so that they don't interfere with each other. I want to get as close, I want to get as far apart as I can without interfering with the fasteners I'll be using here to hold this to this beam. And I will be attaching these 2 together with a 1/4 inch hole, and I'll use a 1/4 inch pop rivet, because these things will be, again, this is tying it into one cohesive unit when I'm finished. And it'll be held against the plywood with some decking screws. I've got hundreds of these things kicking around from an old project, and I'm going to knock off the corner here so that I'm not exposing myself to that sharp edge when it comes to moving these things in and out once I have multiples stacked up against each other. This side I won't have to worry about that, because this is just going to be a flat like that. So I have actually got some asymmetric bed frame kicking around in my basement. This is a symmetric piece. Both arms are the exact same size. I have some here down here which is one arm is longer than the other, and I'll be using that. That way I'll be able to get the longer arm against the plywood in the wall, and that will give me a greater degree of support. And I will use it the other way with the asymmetric longer piece this way, and again giving me more direct support all the way out to here before the cantilever kicks in. Now I freely admit I am not good at maths. It's another shining example of, I wish I had my friend Jan readily available to me. He is good at math. He would be able to tell me how much force I am probably going to be applying to this, and whether my rough ballpark in my head it makes sense calculations will actually support the weight I think they're going to support. I'm hoping they do. We're going to find that out. It's why I tell people I don't build airplanes, I build railroad engines. Like this is a cell phone stand that is literally capable of probably holding my weight. I overbuild things. So I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to support quite a bit of weight in these bins, because what I want to do is have heavier loose fasteners in this. I got a bunch of those kicking around, small pieces of steel, just odds and ends in these bins that are currently don't really have a home, and I want them to have a home. And that way I can also put stickers on the front if I want to label them, or they may just become generic bins I put things in until I use them, and then they get replaced with something else I put in the bin. So we need to figure out the width I'm calculating here, cut out a bunch of pieces of this. I have multiple pieces of baluster kicking around at the moment. I've been picking up some just for this project. Like every time I go to the hardware store, I would pick up an extra one. So I'm going to need 4 pieces of that. That's my goal right at the moment, to make 4 of them. And the top one may potentially not have any. I may take that all the way up to the plywood, and in that case I will put another piece of bed frame like this to act as a stop. So the top one may have one extra piece of bed frame on it, which will prevent this thing from going off the back, which is not something I want to happen. So that's the first step. Is going to be take the measurement, cut 4 pieces, and then 4 pieces of this, or 4 pieces from the asymmetric of the same width, and then figure out the length, which is just by pure happenstance. This piece I have kicking around may be the exact size I need, so I may use it as a template, and then make that as the support on the exterior for the 2 verticals, 2 horizontals rather, the lengthwise ones, and then start the whole process to see if it works. Once I get one of them made, I'm going to test it for weight, and if it works for me and I'm happy with it, I will make a second one, and then I'll work on the spacing. So I think I can get 4 here without any interference. I don't think I have space for 5, but if I have space for 5, cool. If I don't, I don't. So I'm going to go play with this right now. Going to do a bunch of cutting, and we'll see how well this comes out. Hopefully in my next clip you'll actually be looking at some of this all cut, ready for drilling. Oh, so a quick note, I just knocked down those 4 pieces, and I just used my big boy pull saw from Silky. This is a folding saw, designed initially for people that are doing like gardening work and things like that, but it is, for me, a really fast way of breaking down bits of lumber in my basement from my projects, because a lot of the time I'm only cutting 1 or 2 things. They're not high precision. I just need to get a piece of wood separated from another piece of wood, and this thing does exactly what I need it to do. And even though it's meant for outdoor use, it is good enough for me to get a nice clean cut. It leaves a beautiful cut. It really does leave a lovely cut on these parts. I don't care that it's not perfectly square. I don't need to get an electric saw out there to do this. I have to worry about cords and stuff, and I don't have a cordless saw, small circular saw at this point in time, and I don't know if I ever will, because I just don't do enough lumber breakdown to really justify it, I don't think. But we'll see. I'm really quite happy with the Works drill I've got, and I've got a sander on order, and I plan on getting a cordless angle grinder, so maybe there'll be a point in my future where I have a cordless cutting saw, a circular saw as well. We'll see. But I'm telling you, Something like this can not only be useful in your garden, but it is just so handy for just a quick, fast job in my shop, particularly because seeing as I'm doing some very basic stuff. And it's faster than anything else I've got. I've got other pull saws, and they're just not as fast as this. This thing just zips through things. And I've actually seen people doing like the type of stuff out in the wilderness, you know, like building shelters, or even actually building some very simple structures, who are basing them on just using this. This is like the only saw they use when they're out there in the woods for cutting up lumber, and they're building things like small scale log cabins and stuff, or just shelters, you know, advanced shelters with these kind of things. They're so darn handy. I love my big boy saw from Silky. In fact, my wife was so impressed with this, she bought the one that's one size below this. This is a 50 centimeter. She got a 25 centimeter one version. She loves it because she does gardening as a profession, and she has actually gotten other people to purchase their own Silky saws because of that. So it's like a virus, it keeps spreading. So I'm trying to get it to go a little bit further. Definitely get one of these things, even if you're doing gardening, it's worth your time. And if you're doing something in your shop that just needs a fast cut off and you don't want to have to get the circular saw out, this is going to be much faster than any other saw you've got. So here we have everything broken down. I got four pieces of wood, 4 supports for this section right there, and 4 pairs, which will be the actual cantilevered arms. So now I need to start laying out holes and figure out how I want to do this. And I'm going to be drilling these first, because this is where the asymmetry begins to come in. Actually, the asymmetry has already begun to come in, because I had to make sure that the ones that are going to be against the wall are making sure that they're square here. So that are already started to occur. If it's not asymmetric on that end, I don't care. One of those arms is going to get cut off, and one of these corners is going to get cut off anyway, so I don't care about that. So but I now have to make sure I drill the correct hole here for mounting it on there. So now I'm going to figure out how to put this on there, figure out how that's going to look, figure out the measurements, and then start marking stuff so that I can then start my drilling process. And if I'm smart, I'll do my layout lines so I can drill things in that position, because that makes my drilling much easier. Because sometimes I've been known to forget and lay my lines out on this side. It's much more difficult to drill holes when I have to do that. It's much easier to do that. Alrighty, so time for more laying out and time for start drilling holes. So all the holes are now sorted out, and I have knocked the corners off all of the long arms. These are going to be a slightly larger hole for this fastener, which is going to go through there. These are the fasteners I'll be using to attach this to the actual piece of baluster I'm using. And I picked these up at an estate sale or a yard sale or something. I got them for dirt cheap. And I don't know, it wasn't a complete box, but I was close to it. I'm like, okay, well that was a good deal, because these are not cheap. Deckmates are not cheap, but they're really good screws. And what are these things? These are grip rates. I really like my grip rates. I've used these on numerous projects, and they are excellent fasteners. So I'm going to attach these to the baluster. Then I'm going to use that whole thing so I could then figure out where I want the holes for this to go, because this kind of has to come together, and the more variables I can take out of this, the better. So I need to do some layout, and then I need to do some drilling. And the drilling will not be impeded if I have this attached to the baluster or not. So time to do some clamping, some layouts, and figure out exactly where I want things to be. And then it's going to be drilling 1/4-inch holes through these and these, so I can then rivet the whole thing together and have a completed unit to then attach to the wall. So here are the completed units. We have them attached to the piece of baluster with these 2 screws, and then we have these 2 attached with 2 1/4-inch rivets. And one of these, if I can find which one it was, Here we go. That one I actually had a notch in it. I was taking advantage of the notch that was already there. So I had to put essentially a washer on the inside, and I just took a piece of scrap that had been one of those corners, drilled it out, and put it on the inside because I'm like, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle kind of thing. So that works as it. So the whole thing is now sandwiched together. So that's not going to be a problem. Now I want to put these over here. Unfortunately, I cannot go all the way down to here because that would put that fastener in the way. So I'm going to have to go up a little bit so that the fastener will go above it, but I want to be able to get one of the fasteners into the actual beam, so I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Then the other fastener, of course, will go out here in the air. It'll go through this, but it's going to be sticking out the back, but I'm never in behind this thing. It's right up against my wall. I'm not too worried about that. So we're going to put this one in first. I'll clamp it in place. I'll drill it, and I'll attach it with two of my grip rate decking screws, and then I'll see what the spacing looks like for the other three. And I still don't know if I can get 5 on here. That's going to be maybe a problem, because I still have the same problem at the top as I have here. Is I don't want to move this. I want this to stay right where it is, and so I may have to put the last fastener down here, which means I may not be able to get 5 on this wall. And if I do, I have to make a 5th set. I don't have a 5th set yet, but I know I can get 4 on here. So that's the first thing I need to do, is clamp it in place, make sure it's relatively level, and then attach it. Well, the first one's installed, and the bin fits perfectly. And as a weights test, I put that piece of steel on there, which is almost solid. It weighs about 25, maybe 30 pounds. I don't know how much. I don't have a scale down here that'll let me weigh it. It weighs a bunch. I picked it up at a yard sale for $2. Mostly I do use it for holding things down or clamping things. Haven't found another use for it yet, but I think it's cool looking. I have no idea what it's for. Anybody ever seen one before, tell me. It's got a big screw, which is very, very rusted. I could probably unrust this thing, but it'd be a lot of work at the moment, since it's just a weight. But the point is that I'm never going to put that much weight on that, ever. So once again, I have overbuilt things, and I am A-okay with that. I am a firm believer that the best kind of build is an overbuild. So now I'm going to start working on figuring out how many I can get on here, but so far I am very happy with my design. And there we have the final system installed, and the magic number is 4. I was correct. So on and off, no problem. Now I just got to fill them up and figure out what I want to put in them. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with this. This worked out really well. I didn't have any major issues, so I got to this one. And apparently the grain in the baluster I used on that one really made my screw come in at an angle this way, which isn't an issue for holding it, but it was an issue because I'm running into this thing. Even though I was using an extension like this, I was still running into that, which made that one a kind of a pain. I also put this one in initially a little too low. You notice these things aren't perfectly level, because to get the backs square, it meant I had to finagle things slightly, but everything is definitely secure. Like I said, this thing can hold like a 25-pound weight, so it's not going anywhere. So now I just got to figure out what I want to put into each of these bins, because I've still got fasteners kicking around all over the place, which need a home, and now I have them. So yeah, I am very happy with this. Completely my own design, overbuilt as I normally overbuild things, but still it came out really well. So thank you folks for being here. I hope that you've had a good time, and I hope you come back to my next build.